Hey, welcome back, family. Rich here from Team Ohana, and I've got a good mail call today. It's a single box, as you saw by the description, but I wouldn't call it a grail. It's like a semi grail. You'll understand that. It's definitely a key. Okay. It's one that I should have bought a long, long time ago when I was advised to when it first came out. And I didn't. So I kind of like shied away from a book for a while because it was a painful memory of the fact that I could have been a very rich individual had I done it. Anyway, as many of you may know from watching the live stream on Monday, my one of my babies I had to take to the vet, and it cost me a small fortune. And I said I wasn't going to be purchasing any more books for a while, but that didn't stop the books that I had already purchased that were already in transit. And I got one that is here, and one that is at the Rogue Trader Utah, which is a presser that's Rob's Fat Sack with Comics recommended. So we're gonna give him a shot with another. That one's definitely a Grail book because I don't trust myself to press it. He's pressing that, and we're submitting it to CGC. So let's take a look though at what I got here. While I am going to miss not buying comic books for a little while, I don't regret it. I mean, as much as as much as I love, increasing my collection, increasing the amount that I'm leaving to somebody someday, I have to acknowledge the here and now, and my dogs are my family, so I do not regret taking care of them. This is pretty well packed, and okay, so I can actually see the book already. It's just like one. It's an okay box. I think the book made it okay. It's a slab, but he also included a raw different book. So I'll go with the raw different book first. I have one of these already. This is definitely like a reader copy. He just thought it'd be cool to toss in. He said it's a reader copy. It's not terrible. I mean, it's got a couple crunches. It's probably like an 8.5. It's not bad. But it is the Donatello Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And I think I have another copy of this myself, and I think that was like an 8.0. So the fact they tossed in a turtle book is kind of cool. You know what I'm going to do with this one? It's a cool book. I'm going to put this because this bag is, I'm going to put this into a fresh bagging board. This is going into the Patreon pull box. So cool. And I know that this is a book what year did this come out? 1986, Mirage Studios. Okay, so it's an older turtle book here for somebody to enjoy in a raw state. But what did I get? So now, I mean, you know my history about what books I didn't buy when I was younger. And you probably have already figured out what this is. When I say it's not a grail, but it is a key book, then you've really got your Bruce Wayne, Sherlock Holmes going. Then you really narrowed down exactly what this book is. And I got a TMNT #1, and it is a third print. Okay, so like I said, it's not a grail book because that would be a first print, but it's definitely a key book because it's one of the first 3 printings. This came out in February 1985. It's a 7.5. It is my first TMNT #1. It shouldn't have been my first because when I was into comic books in high school, a friend of mine, and I'd have been collecting for 10 years, a friend of mine came up to me. Boy, this is so off center in this holder. Look at this. It's all the way up on this edge. A friend of mine came up to me, Dix, and he wanted to get into it, and I told him I would mentor him because I knew everything. I was collecting for 10 years, and B, I was a teenager. That automatically means you know everything in the universe, right? So he came up to me and said, "Hey, I heard some guys talking in a comic book store. They didn't know I was listening to you and to them, and I heard them talking about this hot new comic book that we should be buying." And I'm like, "What is it?" And he told me the name, and I said, "No, that's a parody book. It's like Howard the Duck. It's not going to go anywhere. And back in the 80s, Howard the Duck was worthless. Okay. So he's like, well, I'm going to buy a couple copies anyway. I'm like, you go right ahead. Now, I had a standing rule with myself that regardless of how ridiculous the rumor was, if I heard some people talking about it, it means somebody was interested and I should buy a few copies. I always tried to buy 100 copies. That's how dedicated I was. But there was only 1,500 copies printed, so chances are I wasn't going to get 100 copies of that. But even if I had really dug around and found 10, can you imagine? Well, he wanted to buy 3. I bought 0. So here we are, 40 years later, and I finally pulled the trigger on a 3rd printing. But still, it looks cool. I'm glad to have one in the collection. I can see the little problems why it got a 7.5. It's still fine. It's a good book to have. It's a good book. It's a book that will look great up on the wall when it gets there. Yeah, so there we are. TMNT number 1, 3rd print. Maybe someday I'll get a 2nd. I don't think I'll ever get a 1st. Let's be honest. I would love to have a 1st printing, but if I had that kind of money to drop, I'm going for an AF-15. Okay, let's be clear. Okay, and if I can, and after an AF-15, if I have more money and I want to drop in that price range, I'm going for first appearance of Mickey Mouse in 4-color. I'm going for Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 1. I'm going for Golden Age stuff. So, but still, I'm in the club. Yay! The only other thing that I actually got in the mail came in the mailbox. I don't think that you guys are interested in this, but for those of you that are, if you're not, you could just click off now. That's fine. But I got some Lorcana cards in because I'm working on building a deck. If you're exiting now, please don't forget to like, subscribe, click on notifications, and join Patreon / Team for $3 a month, or here at YouTube for $3 a month, just to help cover the cost of shipping and the books that I've purchased to give away. Just so we have some fun. Patreon get-togethers, you might get a chance to get that Donatello because that'll be in that box. If you are interested in Lorcana cards, stick around for a couple minutes. We'll take a look at the deck that I'm building and what I got. You're still here. I guess you like Lorcana. All right. So, yeah, what I'm working on is I'm new to Lorcana. Just played my first few games for the first time 2 days ago, okay? But I knew I was going to be getting into a league, so I started researching which decks work well now. Tried to read some of the Shimmering Skies and expansion out and what cards I thought would not totally counteract what I'm going to build and what the new set may actually help me with. And I'm going the way of Green Steel, like a lot of people are, which is actually one of the most expensive decks to build at this time. But if you are a Magic the Gathering player, why I had to put so much tape on this thing, I don't know. If you're a Magic the Gathering player, you've been in for a long time. You remember when dual lands were $15, $20 a piece? We were actually ticked when they got to $20. And I had a Mox Emerald. I think I sold that for $185. I just looked at the price the other day. I'm like, $3,000? What? For a 6.0 unlimited? Oh my God. I didn't want to Google what box, look at YouTube to see what eBay to see what a Black Lotus or what the total cost of a Power 9 would be. And a friend of mine up in New York, he doesn't even want to talk about it because he sold off his collection, and I think he told me he had 163 dual lands, and I think he was selling these when they were topping out around $30 a piece. Jeez. So yeah, like I said, I am putting together the Green Steel deck, which some of the cards that I've gotten already. I've got my Sudden Chill. I've got the Strength of a Raging Fire. I've got 3 out of the 4 Diablos. I got the other one coming in. Flynn Rider, his own biggest fan. We don't talk about Bruno, which I bought one of these on eBay. They're not that expensive. Okay. I forgot that I already had one from packs that I pulled out. And then Sunday after work, after the league, I stopped by Walmart to do some shopping. And it's like, what? Let me just buy one more pack, even though they're like $1 more expensive at Walmart than they are at Visions. But sometimes you're just like, I just want to buy another pack. And I got another one. We don't talk about Bruno. I'm like, okay, so I went from needing one to having three real quick. I've got my 4 Ursula Deceivers. I know that a lot of people don't like this card too much. It's like, oh, so all you're doing is you're getting them to discard a song card. The more important mechanic in this is it's a 2-cast. It's paintable if you need to. It's a 1/3, so it's got some defense, and you can't quest with it. But forget the fact that you discard a song card. I get to look at their hand. And a lot of times that comes in handy because you see somebody playing a specific deck. And oh man, he's playing Sapphire. Oh man, he's playing Amethyst. Oh, I got to watch out in case he has this card because that works well with these. I don't know if that person has it in their hand. So just a chance to look at it and say, oh, you don't have that in your hand? You might draw it on the next one, but I know for a fact you don't yet. It gives you at least a little bit of clairvoyance. So let's get the next pack open. I got to make sure I save these because I want to make sure I can compare the tracking numbers. So when I'm leaving feedback for the stuff that's actually received. Okay. Well, there's that other Diablo I was talking about. So now I got all 4 of those. Yay! I'm taking them out of these hard holders for now because I've got a pack of actual sleeves coming. Oh man, I hate. Stop taping everything together, guys. Jeez. Or get 2 pieces of cardboard and tape the cardboard and leave the card alone. I mean, they're trying to make things safe, but they don't realize that what they're doing is actually putting it in jeopardy when I'm trying to get it out. And wow, no inner sleeve? No, they do. It's just a very stubby inner sleeve. Oh, it's one of these blackback ones, which I don't like either. I'll get that out of there. And I have my other Diablo. Okay. 2 more packs left, and I know one of them is it's the expensive one. I've got a feeling it's the thicker one. It better be for the price I paid. And if you know your Lorcana cards, and you know which cards are expensive for this deck, there's 2 that are real killers as far as the price. And yeah, I got 4 of each. What do we got here? Oh, okay, yes. These are just standard commons, which I didn't have, and I wasn't going to go crazy when I could find somebody on eBay that sold me 4 for $1. You know, with $1 shipping, who cares? And as a result, they put all 4 into one sleeve, but that's fine with me. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, I bought 2 different auctions from this guy, and he put them both in the same envelope. One of them was another We Don't Talk About Bruno. Okay, I have 4 of these. And the other one is the Diablo Maleficent's Spy. When you play this character, you may look at each opponent's hand. So again, knowing what your opponent has can play a big difference in what you do. And it's a 1/2. It's a 1-cast. You can quest with it, and it is paintable. So it's got, it's a good first turn. Get it out there and get some stuff going. Okay, so put that there. I'm gonna put the We Don't Talk About Bruno in with the other We Don't Talk About Brunos, just in case I have a deck that needs 4 of them, which I don't. I'm now set. Isn't that the way it usually works? Oh man, I remember trying to put together baseball card sets when I was a kid, and 1978, I think I was just buying pack after pack after pack because there was one stupid regular Pittsburgh Pirate player I could not get, and none of my friends that collected baseball cards had him. And it wasn't a star; he was a common player. I think it was Omar Marino, maybe. And interesting, he he threw in a free football card. It is a Tyler Lockett Prism, but he actually put the tape directly onto the card. So, also on the backside, Daniel Jones. Tape directly on the card. So instead of using cardboard, he's using worthless cards. Well, I get it. That makes sense. And since I don't really care about football cards and these are going directly into the garbage, I'm just going to rip these off. damage the heck out of the cards uncaringly. But somebody's going to put in the comments, no, wait, that card is a $500 card. Yeah, not anymore, it ain't. Ay, ay, ay. And, oh boy. Oh, come on, off. Oh, wow. This is a very expensive pack. Because the 2 expensive cards that I got apparently were from the same dealer, and he put them all into this little envelope. Yeah, so we have 4 copies of Ursula, Deceiver of All, and 4 copies of Beast, Tragic Hero. Wow, that's like $400. Okay. And custom sleeves, which I'll get rid of because I have a set of sleeves coming anyway. All right. So you can see the the sets that I'm putting together here. And I was talking about it a little bit at the league that I'm putting this set together, and how expensive that thing is. Yes, but I will, honest to God, take very good care of these cards. My goal is when I shuffle them, when I play them, I'm ginger that they're inside double sleeves, and could take like I said, gonna take very good care of these things. I got a set of these kind of sleeves coming in, and then I'll probably put them into these as well. My deck will be super thick, but I want the cards to be protected. And if you do it for one card, you have to do it for all. This way, all the cards look identical. So it'll be 60 of these things. It's gonna be a nice little stack of cards. It's fine with me. The idea, though, is let's just say in 5 years, this game really does take off. They're on their 15th set. And by the way, I think they're pumping out sets too quickly. Just saying that. Got another expansion coming out in August. It's the 5th set already. So, the original core cards, as long as they don't get blocked, or what do you call it, outlawed by the governing agencies, like they do with Magic cards. Oh, this card is no longer legal to play, or you can only use it in this format. That kills the value of a lot of cards. As long as you still have access to a lot of these cards, they're going to have good value and appreciate as you get more and more people start playing it and want to have these cards and not use actual proxies. So whenever this character sings a song, you may play that song again from your discard for free. Then put it on the bottom of your deck. So not only do you basically get whatever song card you have doubled, but the card now goes from your discard pile back into your deck. It's at the bottom, but if you have one card in here that allows you to shuffle, that's it. You're in. That's the Ursula. That's one of the big engines in this. And the Beast is a shift 3, but his cast is only a 5, so it's not terrible. But he is a 3/5. He can quest for 2. And at the start of your turn, if this character has no damage, draw a card. Otherwise, he gets +4 offense per turn. So if he's still 5 defense, he hasn't taken any damage, you get to draw a card. So he stays a 3/5. You're drawing a card every turn. You got 4 of these out. You're drawing 4 cards every turn. You're burning through your deck quick. So you should be able to overwhelm your opponent. At the same time, you're controlling, with this deck, controlling the hand that your opponent has. You've forced him, hopefully, to be able to discard everything. And if he can't do anything and you're just, constantly throwing stuff out, this game is going to end quick. Yeah. But if he does take damage, you don't get to draw a card, but now he becomes a 7 whatever left of his damage. So if somebody did 1 damage instead of a 3/5, he becomes a 7/4. They can still quest for 2. So at that time, you just start using him as a quester. Oh, you sacrifice, kill whatever you want. He's not going to, he's going to take him with him. You could take out, you get 2 of those guys that have a little bit of damage, and you're getting rid of any card on the table that your opponent, because 2 of them together with a little bit of damage are 14 assault. Taking out anything at that point. So I think it's a very well-rounded character, and I can understand why they sell for $60 a piece. So anyway, though, that's the last of the cards, except if you really care about these football cards that are now taped to mailing envelope. All right, guys, I want to say thank you for joining. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, click on those notifications so you know when more videos are dropping. And don't if you want to join Patreon, Patreon/Team Ohana, that'd be fantastic. The link is going to be in the description down below. And you can also just join right here on YouTube as a YouTube member. It's the same cost. One gets, there's different benefits for each. Patreon, I can try to record the watch-alongs. I'm not doing the Acolyte. It's too controversial. And YouTube members get access to these videos earlier. So you're just helping the channel, support the channel. It's $3 a month. You definitely get more than that in your for yourself, and you get bonus picks on if you win on New Comic Book Day, the giveaway every single week. It's worth it. I think so. All right, guys. I want to say thank you so much for joining. Please don't forget to, like I said, like, subscribe, notifications, and until I see you in the next video, though, mahalo.